there was rumors, there was innuendos. I don't think anyone should be shocked. Sting, who's 64, going to be turning 65 in March. And March is a significant month also for Sting because he made the announcement on Dynamite Thunder that at Revolution in March that he will have his last ever match of his pro wrestling career. You know, Thunder, you've been able to work with Sting these last couple of years in AEW, an icon, a legend, one of the best ever. Your thoughts on Sting and the announcement that he's going to have his last match at Revolution?
When I first heard of it, I'm not gonna lie, I'm sad, but it's very courageous of him because like the last couple matches that he's been in, they've been very physical. He is not no spring chicken, so I know I remember that time where I talked to his wife and I was like, how do you feel about him wrestling? I was like, I pray to God that, he comes out the same way that he came in. And he's taking some hits, man. And, but he definitely, for the time that he has been working with AEW, along with Darby Allin, I think it has helped cement this like mysterious aura that Darby has, and they've been able to create long-term stories with him along with Darby Allin, and it's just really awesome to see. I think it's his decision. If he would have like felt that he can and want to wrestle, he would have continued to wrestle for a longer time. He's in great shape. He's probably one of the most positive people I've worked with. Man of God, most definitely. And it is sad because we all love him. We all love when they say Sting and everybody gets so excited and the music plays and the fake snow comes through.
That's fake snow? I thought that was real.
No, it's fake snow. And and if you grew up watching Sting, when you never want your some people to like retire. You don't never want people to like not be you never want people to leave the ring, but he has left definitely a huge legacy and many different companies, and I think he's like one of the very few that has done that. And he's done a lot of things his way. And the last 15, 20 years of his career, he definitely learned a lot from the past, and he changed his ways because of God and the way that he worked with others. So I'm really sad that he's gonna be leaving. I don't know if he's gonna work in another capacity, just in terms of managerial or like doing promos here and there. But I am sad, and I don't work with him as much as I used to. So when I went and say, I miss you, sir, like it makes me sad.
Yeah, I think it makes everybody sad. I said on the show yesterday that he's kind of like that final link to the wrestling that I grew up with, the territories, to this new era in pro wrestling. So now that he's stepping aside, and Thunder, let me ask you this question. Do you think that Sting is retiring because of the fact that he has really nothing left to prove?
Great question.
He's done everything, especially in this last run. The run in the WWE ended because he got injured. But now, like, he's going out on his own terms. He got Darby Allin over to the moon, at least helped with that. Like, I really don't think Sting has anything else to prove in his career.
I think this is just about him and how much he can do. And when you were a dominant force in professional wrestling, because remember 30 years ago when I was like looking at some pictures somebody put, like flashback Thursdays, Sting and somebody else, and I was like, damn, Sting, you're a beefy boy. Like he was a dominant force, like the way that he looked, his presentation, he was pretty dominant and pretty awesome to see. And now he's like he is an example of like he is not a shadow of what he was when he was wrestling 15 years ago. Like every match that he's been in, he's given his best, and he's done really, really well, and has taken a lot of risks. So I think that the reason why he's doing it is he's doing it for himself. Because like you said, he has done and accomplished everything he has want to, or he put his mind into. And now he's doing this because he loves it and it's fun for him. But I think again, maybe he wants to go back and spend more time with his wife, or just spend more time doing other stuff, or has other projects. He really, in the promo, he didn't really talk about it. Probably he's going to talk about it afterwards on what's next for Sting. So like I said, I respect him a lot. And as a person, like the advice that he's given me in terms of like when I was in a very tumultuous time of my personal life, he took the time to like really tell me like what to really focus on my goals. And like again, I could tell you he's a man of God, and he gave me the advice that someone like him and his wife will do, because they see my personal values like any other person has seen it in that company, and they were able to guide me in a very positive way. So that's like the one thing I'm like, I am really sad because when you get to know Mr. Steve or Sting, he is really, really good to listen to, and also to give you really good advice that is not gonna be like something you're like, nah, he's full of crap. Like he knows what he's talking about. He's been through it, like, and he's very open about it. If you ask him, and it was very enlightening to hear what he had to say. And he's a very kind person.
He's been very open. There's even a movie that he put out, I want to say 12, 13 years ago, about, about his life and about his failures, um, about his personal life and how he fell into some of the trappings of being a star, finding God and kind of reinventing himself, not only as a character, but as a person outside of the ring, a person of value, a person of worth. It doesn't surprise me at all, Thunder, that, that was somebody that you were able to lean on. And the name of the movie is called Sting, Moment of Truth. And I recommend it to any Sting fans out there to check it out. It's very well done. And Thunder, you hear a lot about superstars like a Sting that come into a company and they're almost separate from everything else because they are a star. They don't get involved to the day-to-day activity. From what you're saying, it sounded like he did get involved, at least on a personal level, with a lot of the people that were in that locker room. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, especially the people that he worked very closely with. And also, like, again, if you approach him in a way where it's genuine, and you want his advice, he's always open to give advice on anything, if he has the time, right? Again, I had a couple of experiences with him, and like, getting to know his wife and getting to know their story, how they fell in love, and everything was like, it was a beautiful story. And I got to meet his son, his daughter-in-law, and everybody. And they're wonderful people, and he is definitely one of those um who's always open to help, and always open to give advice. So, like I said, I'm going to repeat myself. I feel like a broken record, but to me, it's like, it's really sad that he is retiring from the ring, and again, I work Saturday, so I don't get to see him as often as I used to. And even when I'm there, I'm like doing commentary, so I don't really get to talk to anybody anymore. But it's been, as a new generation of wrestler, for me, it's a pleasure and a privilege to have worked and have been alongside with some of the most condecorated veterans in professional wrestling, that is men and female. And when I have an opportunity to ask questions or ask them to watch my matches so they can give me feedback, it's something like you don't get nowhere else, right? Especially when we're coming from the indies. And I know I hope he comes in a coach position, or like character development, because look at him. Has developed his character throughout decades, and he has been able to stay uh within people's, memory, and also it stay relevant for all these years. And that is very important, and that's something very difficult to do.
Oh, it's almost impossible to stay relevant as long as Sting has. But you just said something, Thunder, that I want to follow up on because I think it's important. because us as fans only see the Sting on our TV screen and the Sting that's in the ring. I think you really show your worth by what you're able to do outside the ropes, outside the ring. And it sounds like he's somebody that you can lean on. He's somebody that you could talk to. He's like a real veteran that, has no qualms of sharing that experience, but doing it in a way that is constructive. I think that's a big reason why Tony Khan hired Sting that probably a lot of fans don't realize. And that's probably one of the better hires that Tony Khan has ever made, just for the reasons that you're saying.
And again, it's like, I mean, a lot of the criticisms were like, hey, man, you're kind of old to be doing that. That's his life. That's his career. That's his choice. He chooses to do that because he loves it and he enjoys it. And he has done it really, really well. Some of the matches were cinematic, but even then, like, the risk of injury is very high for anybody that is part of the match, not only for him. And again, he's sacrificed his body for the entertainment of you guys for all these years, especially in the last year. He's done some really crazy matches, but again, it's his choice. And man, I was just like, again, reading everything that he's done, seeing a lot of the pictures, from like his days of bodybuilder, then his transformation, face paint, tag team, when he was in WCW, TNA. Like, he's done a lot of cool stuff. There's like the faces of Sting. There's so many faces of Sting, with makeup, with no makeup. There was some stuff. He did great work in TNA, went back, Impact or TNA, and back in like 10, 15 years ago. The storylines, his promos, there was depth in the character, and that was so good. I remember I was talking to one of my peers last year about a promo that I wanted to do when I was doing stuff with Serena Deeb. And he mentioned that I should do something similar to what Sting was doing when he was coming out with no face paint. Right. So people understand the different faces and the different layers that exist with people that use face paint. And he's like, you remind me a lot of him because he's, this and that. And I was like, all right. So, and I did that, and I really went over. And I remember you told me, Melissa, was probably one of the best promos ever. When I did it with no face paint in Las Vegas, setting up for Double or Nothing. But it's like, for me, he's an example of like someone who brings a lot of mysteriousness, who brings a lot of like himself into the ring. And when he puts that face paint on, it's a trademark. He doesn't wear a mask, but that's his thing. And then he has, again, different layers and different characters of Sting. We have the Joker character, we have the Croak character, then we have the Sting without the face paint, and now we have Sting, the veteran that goes with Darby Allin, and he was trying to teach Nick Wayne the right ways, but Christian Cage, the Father of the Year, the best, the face of TNT, just derail everything, and now Nick Wayne don't have a tooth no more, so. So again, he still has a lot to offer to a lot of the new generations, and he still gives he's 1000% every time he steps in the ring. So he should be very proud for what he has done inside and outside of the ring, because I think at this moment he is content and he's happy with the result and where his life has gone.
You mentioned TNA, like he was the Joker Sting in TNA, which I thought was one of his better characters. And I've said this even about a Kurt Angle. Best matches of Sting's career was in TNA Impact, as you mentioned before. So as we get closer to Revolution, knowing that's going to be his last match, Thunder, for you, who do you think his last match should be against?
Damn, that's a good one. I think it should be Darby.
Okay. I agree with you. I said that yesterday. I think it should be Darby.
They have worked along so well, and who better to retire Sting than Darby? They know each other so well. There's like, that story is like, yes, it has to be Darby.
Yep, I agree.